Alright everyone, welcome to the AEF podcast. I am Rob Star along with
Frankie D.
Frankie D himself, the Holy Grail.
Yep, Holy Grail.
Yeah, welcome. We're going to be basically talking mostly about tonight some professional wrestling stuff regarding the WWE's Monday Night Raw reunion show.
Mm-hmm.
We'll kind of just go over a lot of the segments, our thoughts and feelings of certain things. And I guess, we'll try to make it a little bit more universal in the sense of the state of the wrestling business itself with, the way the WWE kind of been handling it. Because I guess this show represents, in some way, shape, or form, where the company's mindset might be with some people, I guess, and how they view their product and what they want to do with their creative angles or... for whatever sense of the word it is.
Not just angle-wise, but also for ratings.
Oh, yeah. This was definitely, you could tell this, I don't know, I guess this would have to have been ratings grip, right?
It would have had to be, ratings grab just to get, that older audience back into it. But then they didn't do so much of a good job of advertising to like the newer audience who don't know these guys.
Well, to me, I feel that like watching the show and like I spent the whole day rewatching it again and then seeing if I could see it from a different perspective. But I feel like this was a casual fan grab for anyone. If you're gonna know someone like Stone Cold Steve Austin, he's a pretty universal name. Obviously, The Rock's a huge. Mega movie star, so you're going to know that he had some type of past. Now, obviously, he didn't make an appearance in the show.
No.
The Raw reunion show, but, there were a lot of familiar faces. Everyone's going to have an idea who Hulk Hogan is.
Yep.
More people, I guess, are starting to become more familiar. Ric Flair seems to be getting a grip on the younger generation because, a certain...
Well, also because of Charlotte Flair, right?
Well, I mean, for the wrestling business, wrestling fans will know Charlotte Flair. Ric Flair. This I'm saying casual fans who maybe do not know wrestling.
Right.
Will know Ric Flair because Ric Flair is really popular in even in the NBA and the NFL circuit, or at least in the college football scene. They do a lot of the Ric Flair woo, they do his chants and stuff like that. So you can tell that Ric Flair still has a little bit of a pop culture feel, some mainstream attention in there. So you're gonna know him. But, there was a lot of people who were from Nostalgia Avenue, and I think that's what this show was about. It was some nostalgia.
Yeah, and I think it was also just to have, because they didn't really further any storylines, but it was also just to have, a fun show.
Yeah, I think that's what it came down to. When I was watching, it seemed like it was, I don't know, I've seen a few, AEW has done events, and they brought on some, past legends of the business to come and showcase, whether it be just announce a segment, be involved in some type of segment that is a part of, but there's a wrestling... there's a match that follows along suit with it, and you got that when the show opened up a little bit, but then it didn't really kind of stay true to having wrestling. A lot of the storylines didn't really get told. It seemed to me, at least watching it, it felt like they kind of burned a week that could have been used to build towards SummerSlam. Right, that's coming up very soon. Right. SummerSlam's actually the same weekend that AEF is doing their. We're doing our premiere for Enchanted Mafia Dark City, so. Yeah,
I tried to get Billie Kay to be my +1 for the premiere, but she didn't respond.
That's crazy, She's in town.
She's in town, so I'm taking the next best thing.
Bad. Oh yeah,
myself.
The Holy Grail is going to be there.
Grail.
Wow. Okay, that's not bad. That's a good idea. I'd rather have the Holy Grail there.
Yeah.
If she's occupied, we definitely know she's probably going to have to be defending her titles. That weekend, so she's probably going to be...
On the pre-show.
She's going to be... Yep. Yeah. Hey,
I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Kickoff. It's going to be the kickoff. They're changing the words so that way it doesn't sound too, shunned. It's
so, janitor and custodian?
Yeah. Actually, no, they changed it. Now it's...
building engineer.
Yes, building engineer.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, but I think with due respect to the way the show was ran, I just don't think that they have. I'm not saying they don't have a clue, but it seems like sometimes they run it and they don't have a clue.
Yeah. It's almost because the WWE has been the main wrestling show for so long. Because remember, there was the time of WCW versus WWE.
Yeah, the Monday Night Wars were back and forth, and you even had ECW, who had a little bit of a foot in the race a little bit. I'm not saying they were as dominant, but there was another.
You had options, you had options to watch. I don't like this show, so I'm gonna watch that show, right? Yeah. Whereas it's been so there's no other show to watch. This is it. So no matter what we put out is always gonna work because we're the only wrestling show out there. But I think what's starting to, I don't want to say make them crumble, is the fact that, okay, now everyone's catching on that there's more than just, I can watch wrestling on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be as big as AEW or as big as New Japan. It could be a smaller indie fed that just has a couple of matches online that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's taking me away from... Now, don't get me wrong, I like all wrestling, right? But I think because they've been that kind of stale momentum, and I'm pretty sure we're getting into Vince McMahon, that's what's ruining their product.
Yeah, Vince McMahon, I mean, what can you say about him in terms of what he's done for the industry?
Yeah.
And, and revolutionized certain aspects of the industry.
Yeah.
But I feel that in this day and age, in terms of what wrestling is now to what it was back in the 80s and early 90s, is not the same. And, there's a lot of people who, oh yeah, I used to watch wrestling back in the day. They would give you that whole spiel about talking maybe about the late 90s, early 2000s run, which people would probably say was the pinnacle of where the business ever hit in terms of viewership, popularity, and then with, WCW and I guess, Turner, Ted Turner's company, I guess the board of whoever owned WCW at the time with TNT, they didn't want to continue doing wrestling. As much as WCW was not doing well at all at that point.
Yeah, it was horror.
It was just a horrible show. Certain segments of Raw in the last handful of years have also, put parallels to how bad, certain bookings were for entertainment reasons.
Yeah.
They didn't want to continue the wrestling product, even though there was negotiations that maybe WCW might be bought by somebody else and move on and still be able to run function as a company.
Yeah.
But, nevertheless, it didn't work out that way. And I think, Vince McMahon going forward after the 2002, era of going into Ruthless Aggression, it started off strong, and then, more scandals happening with wrestlers and the unfortunate of, Eddie Guerrero's passing, Chris Benoit's passing. I think Chris Benoit is probably the last bullet in the chamber of WWE and the business itself, where the product really had to have a
filter.
Yeah, because, I don't know as well to know when he took the company public. But it was before Benoit passed away, I would assume, right? He took the company public?
I'm not too sure. That I would have to double check. But it was very close.
Well, because that's that whole segment where it's it always comes up on certain, streams, or people repost the video of when Paul Heyman who comes on and just rips into Vince McMahon, and then he yells about Taz, who used to be a huge guy in the locker room for ECW, but now he's on commentary for SmackDown. And he goes, look, he was a wrestler, and you turned the word wrestling into a dirty word. And I think that's what it is. It comes back to, it's not, it's still wrestling. As much as he wants to call it sports entertainment, which is fine, it is. But all sports is entertainment.
Yeah.
Basketball is it's a melodrama at certain points, the way the NBA is with the off season, the way that thing goes.
Yeah.
And the way players are demanding trades here and there. So that's its own, that has that side of the entertainment. Plus, players are having their own brand. So, and then obviously there's the sport itself of basketball, and football's the same. I think the MLB of baseball itself is kind of getting, baseball and the NHL, those two, I still think they need to pull away from the old school. They respect the old school, but I feel like the old school, the same way Vince is doing the same thing with his company. He's trying to put that old school feel on this company, and it's not working in the same way. People are smarter now.
Yeah.
Even though you might say casual fans are what they are, people are a lot smarter. So when they view your products, they're gonna... I have little kid cousins who couldn't even get into the show.
Right.
And they're not even 10 years old.
Right.
So it's if you can't... And I thought the whole point of the product was it was for that age groups.
Yeah.
Right? That's where I kind of try to struggle to find the common ground. Where is the identity of the show? Because NXT, with the way Triple H does it, seems to be very good. And I think that's more of the more modern style of wrestling.
Yeah. What also kind of breaks from wrestling is you have these characters which are good and bad. Mm-hmm. Heels, baby faces, wrestling terms. But so you'd have like a heel like Charlotte Flair, and then when you see her Instagram or see like she's doing these events, she's playing a good guy.
Well, yeah, kayfabe in that sense has taken a hit. Like you had... Yeah. When they did that whole authority angle for the longest time from a stretch of 2014 mixed with 2015, part of 2016, with Vince McMahon... No, not even Vince McMahon, excuse me. Stephanie McMahon, Triple H. They had Corporate Kane.
Yeah.
Big Show was with them.
Big Show was in it.
Then they had... Rollins was his own... Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, like that whole thing with J&J Shakir, like that whole stupid... Like, well, I'm not saying, it's a storyline... But then you have Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, who are these evil... They're supposed to be these evil authority figures on your main flagship show. Mm-hmm. But they're at these charity events. Stephanie McMahon is talking, for don't be a bully, be a star. That whole be a star, that stuff that they're going on. So that's where it kind of goes... I don't know, like, you're trying to get kids involved, but they see that, I don't know. I see Heath Ledger's Joker at a charity event, and then the next day he's talking about how he's trying to, turn Gotham into a psychotic place, it just doesn't really fit. The pieces don't match.
No, that's why NXT works, because these guys they're not as established as the guys on the main roster.
Right.
But at the same time, they have more, I would think, more creativity to do stuff like on Twitter to continue storylines, or in public they could flaunt a little more that they're actually like the Velveteen Dream is the Velveteen Dream.
Certain guys I notice, I mean, with people the way they are today, and I think that's why, because as actors, if you're an actor or someone who does musical theater, or you're a performer of any such nature, even live theater, you're on camera person, you like to work behind the scenes, you should have an appreciation for what these people who are in the professional wrestling business do.
Yeah,
because you get to see people. If you even are appreciation of method actors, you get to see some people really contribute to keeping their characters as authentic as possible and honoring it. Because now that there's Twitter, Instagram, you still see some people who will do and treat their social media accounts as part of their characters, agenda.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to see a long time when Matt Hardy was doing his whole broken gimmick before he came back to WWE. His Twitter was very lively. He was doing stuff to honor that character, and his tweets were, it would seem like he's tweeting things like that, and it made sense, and I think that's a really nice combination, and you get to see, like, if I'm gonna go, like, could you imagine if, like, how his Twitter was only came out in 2010, so unfortunately Heath Ledger had passed away, but could you imagine if he had done more
Joker?
If he was doing Joker tweets in character, doing that thing. It's about promoting your product.
Well, people would think he's psychotic.
Well, yeah, right? He'd have to change his Twitter handle.
Yeah,
and then go from there.
I
mean, a lot of people kind of have their wrestling names if people don't really know them before they join the business.
Yeah.
And I think tonight's, or at least the Raw reunion show, it brought people back they've built the business to where it used to be is a whole nother story to where it is right now.
Right.
And I think it comes down to, how much of it are they going to expose on people of the same characters over and over and over again. And if it doesn't work, so be it. I mean, I guess for, like, it was nice to see John Cena came out to open the show. I don't know if you, do you want to go on?
We can jump right into it now.
Yeah, I guess for the sake of, since we're already leading into it, John Cena comes in, he opens the show, and he gets, it's been a while because now John Cena's really taken a step back from being the, the poster boy, the franchise, as he would call himself, of A, the industry, and B, the company itself.
As CM Punk said, he's the Yankees.
And now he's the Yankees of the business. Before he used to be, because he's a Boston guy, John Cena, he was always going for that underdog thing, but then, it really became what, at least what CM Punk at that time in that one segment called him, he became what he supposedly hates.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see John Cena. I think it was good. He got a huge ovation from the crowd. He does have a little bit, though, I have to say, of the Kurt Angle treatment now. Kurt Angle, when he comes out, "You suck" is now the chant. It's playful, and
so it's the John Cena
sucks, kind of, da-na-na-da, into his thing, and I think he's kind of embraced, he dances along to it, and I don't know, maybe some people actually do mean it sincerely. They hate him and they're singing the song that way. But I think because he plays into it, it doesn't affect him. It doesn't rub off. So it's like when a bully's trying to yell at you and you just kind of, I am a doofus. Yeah. And they're like, well, this isn't fun. I don't want to pick on this kid anymore. Like he's agreeing with everything I say. This is not fun.
I will say out of this entire episode of Raw, because I had it on in the background as I was doing other things. Mm-hmm. This was one of 2 times where I actually stopped what I was doing to actually look, to sit and watch and just look. Yeah. When Cena came out. And it's hilarious because remember when it was Cena versus The Rock and The Rock came back? Yeah. And The Rock was in Hollywood. He did all these things. And John Cena said, like, oh, you went to Hollywood. This is not really your home, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, they're going to probably bring that angle back somewhere down the line. Maybe not now, but...
The only difference I have to say, and they could do that. To me, as being as much as I am a Cena fan, I think it's a little bit more different in poor taste if they were to do that, because Cena, for 15 years... Mm-hmm.
Was
live bred. He did everything from the Make-A-Wishes to in live events, everything. This guy, that's the half the reason why. I mean, I can't put into perspective. We can only say what led to his even things with Nikki Bella going separate ways. But even prior to them dating, he always stated that he wouldn't have kids until he was out of the business because he wanted to commit to those children that he had 100%. Yeah. And he knows how much that the business puts on, at least from his position at the time, how much it was putting on him that he didn't want to be put in that position of, never being there for his kids, which you have to kind of, I guess, admire and respect.
And someone at his level versus somebody who's like an opener on the show, or the curtain jerker, they call him. Whereas John Cena's, not only is he wrestling like 5 days a week, but he's also making appearances to promote the product. He's doing Make-A-Wish foundations. So the time he has is pretty much like an hour, and that's just for him to sleep.
Well, there you go. And then on top of that, having to be physically in shape, and he always seems to keep himself physically in shape. I think he's done that for 15 years. He's only recently in the last 2 years, been on and off with doing movies. And I'm being generous to saying the 2 years because he still was keeping up with, being around while he was doing some of the ones that have come out in recent time. Yeah. So I don't think that would be fair to him because, as much as The Rock is a huge pulverizing figure, what he did for, wrestling, what was his run from like late 96 till about 2004?
Something like that. Cause
I
think
8 years?
Yeah, because I think 2001 was when The Mummy Returns came out. It was like early 2000s.
2002 is when The Scorpion King came out, because that's when he acted in. That's was his big movie. That movie did really well for him because obviously, he was a big, influential figure in that. But yeah, it was a good 8 years, right? Yeah. He left in 2004, and even then, that 2003, 2004, he was not like, he was on and off. He was doing what Cena and a few other people would probably be doing now, right? Right. It's more, but then again, who just recently, like he said, he retired and announced it on Instagram, was Batista when he finished his match against Triple H. Yeah. At the end of the night, or later on that day, he did his retirement match at WrestleMania, so he would be more appropriate to throw a line like that at, because I don't know how Batista went from 2002 to about 2010, and then took a 4-year hiatus, came back in 2014. Did a little bit with the Evolution stuff, and then went away, and then he came back a little bit again, but I mean, I know Cena. Well, you can tell when he gets on the mic, you kind of want to stop what you're doing and listen. He's it comes from the heart, and he says, like he said to address the crowd, "This is always going to be my home," and you feel that there is that genuine.
Yeah, actually, that was the message throughout the entire night. Yeah, it was like everyone was family.
Whoa, yeah, definitely.
Which is, I wish the acting business was like that, but
hey, you know what? At the end of the day, a lot of those people too would have been at each other's throats when they were in their primes, going head to head for whatever sake it was. There's people like Eric Bischoff we saw on their Raw reunion. We saw obviously Paul Heyman. We saw a lot of people, NWO making their appearance along with the rest of the clique. Yeah, except for Billy Gunn, who wasn't there for obvious reasons.
Which they did the rib
for obvious reasons. So. Yeah, I don't know. It was nice, though, to see Cena and open up the show, and he got the crowd going. And then, next thing you know, you have the Usos who come out and interrupt. And now, I don't know, man. I guess they're moving away from their Uso penitentiary kind of thing.
I think so, because they kind of had like a New Day vibe-ish
I don't know.
When they first came out, they were like, "Whoa!"
Yeah,
whoa!
But that got annoying real quick.
Yeah,
I was done after I think the third no. I was like, okay, this is more than I can handle from hearing those guys do that. But whatever. I mean, they came out and they had a little back and forth with Cena. They wanted him to do bring back his Doctor of Thugonomics, and he chirped them about their DUI arrest. Yeah. So okay, at least I don't mind that. I think people in this day and age a little bit more, apart from what NXT we were saying does really good in this day and age. People are like we've had this discussion, you and I, about how people are even more they're more curious about what's going on behind the curtain than as opposed to the actual stuff. And if you can find a common ground to do a mix of the two, you can really have something going for yourself in this day and age where everything's so easy access with social media that they could really play off that. But again, I think it goes back to sometimes Vinnie Mac maybe. Like the way their agenda is, whoever is leading creative, their agenda, I don't know. It seems like it's a farce at certain times. But it was nice to see Usos come out, and then they invited Rikishi, their father, to come out. Yeah. So then they're gonna do this whole dance, and I think if I'm not mistaken, who used to do the dance with Rikishi?
So it was Rikishi with Too Cool, which was Scotty 2 Hottie, and Grandmaster Sexy, which was Brian Christopher,
who just passed away. Yes,
he passed away
not too long ago.
Last year, I believe it was.
But he passed. Was he at the Raw 25 show?
I don't remember.
Because Rikishi did a dance, and he was at one of the show, and they had him, someone else, and someone else.
Yeah.
I thought that was the three that they always used to do the dance. But, that was a nice... They were going to do a little thing, because it would be the first time... I don't know, Scotty 2 Hottie wasn't there for the Raw reunion, but whatever. And then, obviously, when the Revival come out. And every time the Revival come out, I always want to yell, oh, yeah, they got an entrance, because there was for a couple of weeks or almost months, they weren't getting an entrance.
They weren't getting entrance,
and they were tag team champions.
Yeah.
Not getting an entrance, just being in the ring when Raw would come back from commercial. And I'm like, what do you... that's your tag team champions. It's supposed to be your number one brand of that type of title group. I don't know why they're not getting some type of recognition. But they come out, and then I was surprised Devon Dudley showed up with them. I don't know how that connection worked, but he was there.
I didn't know the connection. I guess it was just for another legend to come out.
I guess fill in the gap, but it didn't make sense. Like Rikishi with the Usos, that's their father.
Yeah.
Makes sense to have him in the corner.
Yeah. The Revival, it would have been interesting, although they got rid of him, if it was Arn Anderson or Dean Malenko, because they seem to fit more that kind of old school wrestling. But Devon made no sense with the Revival.
I mean, I know I heard something that he's an agent or he works behind the scenes.
He works behind the scenes, yeah.
So I can understand why he's still connected to the company that way.
Yeah.
But to have him in that, I don't know. I'm not against it. I'm not saying it ruined the show anymore. Okay, cool. Devon Dudley.
Yeah.
I mean, people were wondering where Bubba was, but I think he said no to the invite, but I think he's doing something I heard something with Ring of Honor, or is it Ring of Honor? Or one of the indies he's with.
Yeah.
And he has his own little radio show he does too.
Yeah.
I know that. So he said no to that. And then they had a match.
Yeah. I was expecting a stink face, at least on one of the Revival.
No.
On Dasher Dawson. Dasher Wild.
The stink face, I don't know, Rikishi, that's one of his signature stuff, but I thought if any time that would have happened, it probably would make sense if Rikishi is out for a segment, gets interrupted, and the guy, some person from the locker room comes out to help Rikishi, and they hold the person down who gave Rikishi a hard time, and they do it to him, and it's just one of those random Monday Night Raws that happens, that they throw a legend out there to do one of those things. I've done it with Mick Foley a bunch of times.
Yeah.
He brings out Socko and does it to some guy like The Miz who came out to interrupt him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when that calls for it. But yeah, the one thing I have to say, the match was good because they're really good tag teams. I was not a fan that the Revival lost.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I don't know why they have their tag team champions losing on TV.
Right. It's 50-50 booking, right?
Which is very, very dumb.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think it's dumb, and I think a lot of people would agree it's really, really stupid.
It's stupid.
And the whole point of this is, I tell people who are actors, they say, oh, you like wrestling? It's well, if you watch it, it's about storytelling.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of this comes from. Obviously, it's great. People have great athletics in this business, or they're physically, built to do this because it's a tough industry to be a part of, physically demanding, mentally demanding. But you have to appreciate the storytelling. And if people put good storytelling, i.e. the way NXT does,
yeah,
and the way certain things do, you'd appreciate, people and how they hold themselves in this business. And I think that's just poor storytelling, and there is no story. Just it was a match that happened. Very good. It was a good match because they're really good teams. They're great performers. They're great in-ring workers. But I think that to have your tag team champions lose on regular Monday Night TV with, I don't know what the whole point was, but now I just feel because, we beat you on the Raw reunion show, they're going to book the Usos versus the Revival at SummerSlam. And I just think it's too...
And it's another
if this is supposed to be your second biggest show of the year, apart from WrestleMania, then come on, you have to do something to build. But I mean, even WrestleMania in the last handful of years, let me get me started. It seems like there's been last minute bookings
all the time.
So yeah, I don't know, I wasn't really a fan of the way it was. I don't think that's good. And I know those guys asked for their release way back, the Revival. Yeah. So to see that now they're the tag team champions, but I don't know, maybe they're locked into stuff, they're being promised some stuff, but they're not fully getting what they want. I couldn't care less. I just think it's stupid that you lose on Monday Night Raw with no really build towards this match, and then where do we go from here?
Yeah.
You want to make your championships look strong and the guys who hold them, right? So that was the opening segment. The Cena was gone, and I don't think we saw Cena for the rest of the night.
No.
Because they had a whole thing at the end, we'll get to later, but there's a whole thing at the end with everyone. And Cena wasn't there, so I guess he had to quickly do an appearance and then
he probably had to leave,
hop on a jet and fly the heck out of Tampa Bay. So and I kind of just recorded that. Then it quickly cut to Jimmy Hart and Hulk Hogan, a quick backstage segment.
Yeah.
We got everyone here tonight, and he starts naming off a couple of names, and then it just goes to commercial.
Cuts. Yeah.
So
that was nice. A little pointless. Well, it wasn't pointless because you got to see.
I don't know. I think it was just a little let's show these guys to get the crowd into it and
pumped up
and see people because they always have a higher turnout right in that first hour.
Right.
Have people a little bit intrigued.
Right.
And then when they came back from a commercial, they had Tori Wilson. She was talking with Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox was showing off her hat, and Caitlyn was there.
Mm-hmm.
She made an appearance. Some old legends, and then Tori Wilson comes to Alicia Fox, give her a big hug. And then Santino Marella.
Yeah.
Shout out to Santino. Hitting a nice, beautiful eye tie, man.
From Mississauga.
Is he from Saga?
He's from Saga.
I thought maybe he was from Woodbridge or something. Doesn't matter. He's still GTA Toronto. Toronto area. Shout out. But it's good to see him. And you had the Cobra.
Yeah.
Just showing that off. And then I loved it because Drew McIntyre shows up.
Yeah.
Just ripped as hell. He's in great shape, but he just looks and he just goes legends and he smirks and just shakes his head. And yep, I think he's saying what a lot of us smarks would probably be thinking about certain people in that segment. So it's what are you gonna do?
Well, when he was walking away, all I thought was he was at the time of all those other wrestlers, maybe with the exception of Tori Wilson, but he was there, Santino.
Yeah, when he made his original debut, yeah.
And then he's at Legends, and I'm thinking, is he happy that he's still working and they're sort of cast to the side now?
Well, I don't know. I mean, certain people are if it's a Raw reunion, maybe. You can have some of your second tier, alumni come back and check out the place and be a part of certain segments. But it seemed like they kept on reappearing. A few of the people, they were in the background. I mean, because I guess for the next part after was R-Truth in that backstage thing when he gets interviewed with Charlie Caruso there, and Carmella is with him. And he's talking about his interview at San Diego Comic-Con.
Right.
And then how he gets attacked by...
the Hurricane.
Hurricane comes out of nowhere, tries to pin him.
Yeah.
And then Drake Maverick in, was it a duck costume or something?
It looked like a banana.
Oh, no, sorry. It was a banana costume. I'm just thinking that he was in yellow, and I couldn't tell what the heck he was because the hat or whatever he was, it was flopping behind him. Sorry. And then he has to... He just says, Comic-Con was awesome, but, if I didn't realize, chickens and, what does he say, chickens and penguins were distant cousins, otherwise I would have chosen to get a different bird, and he starts talking about Larry Bird. I don't know. R-Truth kind of is funny, but I just holy crap, man, this 24/7 title just it was getting passed around the entirety of this show like a goddamn joint at a high school party or something like that.
Well, that's what the 27 title is, right?
Yeah, but I mean, holy crap, how many times do we have to see this thing tonight? It seemed like they filled at least half an hour of segments with just the 24/7 title alone in this night. If you really look at it, like I think I counted, it made 8 appearances throughout the night.
Was it 8?
Yeah, they because then you got Michael Cole there on commentary. He's like, we've had 8 different.
Oh yeah.
So I'm thinking, I'm like, this is R-Truth and Drake Maverick. You see them at least another 3 or 4 more times alone. Yeah. And then there's a couple of segments where the 24/7 title isn't even shown. They're not involved in it, but there's other people because it passes on to certain people. So yeah, basically backstage, R-Truth finally gets pinned because Drake Maverick's wife comes up to R-Truth and says, you're ruining my husband, my marriage. Mm-hmm. And then, he does a sneak attack, pins him 1, 2, 3. Maverick runs away. They try to chase after him. And then Godfather shows up, which was really funny. But I was really surprised just because attention to detail is really important. Yeah. He didn't have any of the girls with him. No. I noticed. No girls. But he did the whole train yelling out that. And okay.
And I forget the announcer. Was it Charlie?
Charlie Caruso, yeah.
Yeah. And he said the whole train, and she was the only one there. Yeah. So I'm thinking, is she part of the whole train then?
I don't know. But I thought that would have been funny if he had at least had a girl on his arm. Yeah. You don't have to have 5 the way he made it do. I mean, I know they used to come out in a conveyor belt down the ramp, and it was really funny because I remember doing they did a behind the scenes way back for his character. They said they were just picking girls out of nowhere. Hey, you want to be on the show? Yeah. And 27 girls coming down the ramp because the girl, the whole train just got longer and longer as the weeks progressed back in the day for Monday Night Raw. But yeah, it was kind of funny to see him. It was a little funny moment. And then, so that was another backstage segment. And then they finally go to Drew McIntyre, and the whole point of this match that they had with him was with Cedric Alexander is because Alexander pinned him last week. So, okay, we're having a rematch. And I thought we were done with rematches. The McMahons came out at the beginning of the year, said that, we know you guys aren't happy with us. From now on, we're going to see fresh new faces, and there's not going to be these rematch clause, and yada, yada, yada. Well, I don't know.
See, what should have happened, because I remember watching a long time ago during the Attitude Era, where, okay, if these guys are in a feud, you wouldn't see them in the ring, at least one-on-one, until the pay-per-view.
Okay, yeah.
It would always be a tag team spot or a Rumble spot, whatever, where it'd be okay, if we're feuding and you tag in yourself and I'm in the ring, I would immediately tag out. That way you still don't see the fight and it still continues the feud, right?
Yeah, I agree the same way, but I think that
this should have been the first match was fine. This should have been Cedric Alexander versus somebody. And he was going to win, but then Drew comes out and just costs him the match.
Okay, yeah, I can see that, but if you're going to do this, where does it stem from? This was a whole thing that Cedric Alexander made an appearance out of some lucha mask, and he came in as this backup partner. Right. And cost, Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre, the match. Who he was partnering with who? It wasn't Roman, was it? No, it was...
No.
Oh, I'm losing my mind. I'm trying to remember that. But I thought that was kind of... Now this is where this feud is stemming from, basically. Yeah. So, he comes out, and then as Cedric Alexander is coming out to the ring, he attacks... he gets attacked by Drew McIntyre, and just Drew McIntyre unleashes fury upon him. And then does an Alabama slam
on the
was it the apron or whatever? Yeah. Takes him out. Boom, done. And I was looking, I'm okay, cool, but what the heck was the point of this? I don't know, we're getting more beat-ups than matches.
Well, they'll probably do because Cedric didn't like what he did, so now there's going to be another match.
Well, they're just going to say, this feud's been going on for weeks. It's yeah, but really, there's no... Not much. I don't know how to say it. The storytelling is just fine. There's just some logic holes in what's going on. And then again, it goes right after that when it cuts away from, Cedric Alexander being down to the ground, being consulted by, officials. We got Drake Maverick again, who's now running away with the 24/7 title, goes back to a backstage segment. Mm-hmm. And he is going to get his luggage, and then I remember seeing that there's worms and dirt in his suitcases. Yeah. And then, sure enough, I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you shows up. The boogeyman himself shows up. That guy was is it a voodoo shaman, basically? as the Boogeyman in WWE.
Pretty much, yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know who the Boogeyman is, really kind of an interesting character for what it was. It's something unique.
Yeah,
don't really see it in a wrestling gimmick too much, so it was cool for people who are more of the faint heart. They don't really like to see worms being chowed down on, live worms.
Yeah,
and don't really pay attention.
Watch him.
Don't pay attention to the Boogeyman. He's different from our Boogeyman. Definitely a lot different from the Enchanted Mafia Boogeyman.
Yeah,
I can put it that way. But that was, he scares him, and then he scares him so much that Pat Patterson shows up out of nowhere, starts yelling at Maverick, and then he pins him for the 24/7 title.
But even the way that pin was, it looked so odd, because Drake Maverick backs away, trips over something, falls, and he's holding his back. And then Pat Patterson comes in with like 2 little stomps. He's like, pin him, ref.
Yeah, I know. He yells, pin him, and then just... boom. Pat Patterson's 24/7 champ, and I'm like, okay, how are they going to make this work?
Yeah.
Pat Patterson, God bless his soul. Shout out to MT. He's from MTL, right?
He's from Montreal.
Good, yeah. Shout out to him. But, how are they going to make this work? Who the heck's going to... is someone going to spear him and then take it? But whatever. He leaves, and then it cuts to having the Viking Raiders... Great, the Viking Raiders. Excuse me, I prefer them as the old War Raiders.
Not the Viking experience.
I don't even want to hear that.
Well, they were going to be called the Highlanders.
Yeah, no.
No, sorry, not the Highlanders. The Berserkers.
I just don't want to.
But then
they were. Get it.
But
I just
the
don't know why.
After.
I just don't understand why they needed to change the name. I really don't get it.
I'm assuming because war.
And war isn't a bad word.
It's not, but.
Why whenever they show up back in the day segment, why is
roar?
Why is that not blurred out then if they're really offended by the word war?
No idea. Unless they themselves have like copyright to their original gimmicks. That's the only other thing I can think of.
To me, there's another level to dissect here, because this is the Viking Raiders versus Hawkins and Ryder.
Which is kind of a squash match.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, because you kind of, for guys like Hawkins and Ryder, they're not bad in-ring workers, right? No. They're talented in terms of being in the ring. It's just, I don't know, the way the bookings are and the way the way certain storylines have gone for them, they never amount to anything, because I don't know, whoever they're used to as like gap guys or guys who help get other people over, they're glorified jobbers, which is shitty. I don't like that. I think they're too talented to begin the way things are being treated towards them. But the Viking Raiders were not on TV for almost 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You can tell by watching this Raw reunion show that hurt them bad.
Yeah.
Apart from the name change alone, them not being on TV hurt them bad.
Yeah.
I didn't hear much of a response to them coming out.
No.
They, to me, are turning into Ascension 2.0.
Pretty much,
which is bad, because Ascension was awesome.
Ascension was the tag team in NXT.
They could cut, and they were good at cutting their promos then. And then when the Ascension came up, like, are those guys? I don't. This is a bad time. I watch wrestling.
They're still there. They're still under contract.
When the heck? I haven't seen them on SmackDown. I haven't seen them on anything.
I'm assuming they just do live shows.
But they only show up for a battle royale or something like that. That's all.
That's like Epico and Primo.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And
man.
at this point, only because one of them I think is still injured, is AOP.
Yeah. Well, it seems like the only one with the gem who came in AOP, that's tragic, because AOP was amazing.
Yeah.
And it seems like the only gem that came out of AOP right now is Mr. Drake Maverick.
Yeah.
From his association for when they got brought up to the main roster. They put them together.
Yeah.
Took him out of 205 Live and brought him, with them. But, they won. They beat Hawkins and Ryder. So be it. I don't know where they go from here. Might as well have just gone regular jobbers. I don't know why, because they announced Hawkins and Ryder, former Raw Tag Team Champions.
Yeah,
if you're putting that in their intro, they're getting announced as the former Raw Tag Team Champions. Why you have them get squashed? Because I think this match was only like 3 minutes. It wasn't that long.
No.
So
and it was mostly the Raiders just destroying everyone.
Oh, there was no. I don't think at all at one point or another there was any type of offense.
No,
which is too bad. So, yeah, Raiders win, whoop-de-doo. Hopefully there's some way that they get booked. So then we go to another party segment in the back there, celebrations with balloons. You see people like Caitlyn and Alicia Fox in the background we saw in previous segments, but it goes to like Maria McKillis there. She's snapping at her husband once again for not being a so-called man, and
it was because he was talking to
Eve Torres.
Eve. I hope this storyline goes somewhere though.
I don't know, man. Like there's a certain point. There's a certain point you're like you can only strip a character so far before the character starts to like people really don't take you seriously as your character.
Yeah.
If you're having it's like the whole thing that they did was it last week or whatever that he went out to go challenge because Maria like her character wanted him to go and fight. He had to go fight again.
I think it was Ryder.
Right on them, and then he lost though, right? He got distracted and then he lost.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I'm pregnant." And then she, causes him to get like, he was against Rollins and Becky Lynch. He lost to.
No, that was 2 weeks ago.
Sorry, excuse me. That was the bad segment I was talking
about.
Oh,
that was the first. Yeah. I thought you meant like a week ago.
No, I said a week ago, but I didn't realize already. Now I'm thinking about it. That was 2 weeks ago. That was a really bad segment in terms of his character. Like it was not in a way that I thought would be. I don't know, like, they just signed another 5-year deals with WWE.
Yeah.
And to me, it didn't seem like, now it's like they're just under the thumb of, like, you're our slaves now. You do what we want, and that's all it'll ever be. And, the segment was she's yelling at him because, I don't want you to give me I don't want to get stretch marks. I need you to rub lotion on my belly because I'm going to be pregnant, and it's going to affect my modeling career. And then the only thing I took out of this entire segment, but I'm taking it with a grain of salt, was the fact that Eric Bischoff was there and he goes, "Hey, if you're having a rough time, you can always come over to SmackDown."
Right.
But that's all I took from that whole segment. Because then Ron Simmons comes and goes, "Damn!"
Which is, well, the whole thing with Eric Bischoff though is like, why would he go after? If you're looking at terms of like hierarchy for from openers. Lower mid-card, upper mid-card, main event. Mm-hmm. Why would he go after Mike Kanellis?
I don't know, because Raw has 3 hours, but somehow they don't know what to do with those 3 hours.
Right.
Even though they have a surplus of talent, i.e. we've already just talked about a couple of tag teams.
Yeah.
Now, whether those tag teams are injured or not is besides the point. It's the fact that there's a lot of talent in this company that is not being utilized whatsoever.
Right.
And I don't like to see people getting squashed to the point now, unless they're getting makeover gimmicks.
Yeah, then that's a different story.
Yeah, then you're kind of letting the quote unquote you're letting the past die and forgetting it, and then having someone come and reinvent themselves as a performer.
Because I'm hoping Kanellis, Mike Kanellis, completely flips out and he's like, I can't take this shit anymore. Screw you, and then he goes back to being Michael Bennett.
Well, that would be interesting, but I just, the way things are with the company, I don't see them doing that.
Right.
If I had to be completely honest, I don't see them doing that.
Right.
But nevertheless, that was cool. And the segment was done. Then we go to another backstage segment. It's really crazy. You got 3 hours of TV and there wasn't that much wrestling in it. So if anyone's like, I want to watch some wrestling, you're not really seeing much on the show. This was an interesting one. Was the club, who's now going as the OC. They're calling themselves the OC.
When they sign up with WWE again?
Shortly, I don't know, 2016?
2016?
Is it just before the brand split?
So 4 years too late, but continue.
Yeah, well, no kidding, in terms of this whole club gimmick for what it was.
Right.
But, they're saying they run Monday nights, they're not being too mean, like, I don't know, they're saying, to heck with the legends, coming back here, we run Monday nights, yada, 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 they can't hold a candle to what we can do. But I don't mind the way they have their attire now, the new shirts I saw looked kind of cool. I don't mind the OC look. So what's the original club? Is that I think what it stands for?
I think it. Well, yeah. AJ said like a whole bunch of other words, like the original, official.
Yeah.
Some other word.
Oh no,
club.
I think that's what it is. The official club. I think that's what OC stands for. I think it's for official club. Yeah, that was a little thing there, and then so at least you see them that they're coming out with their new so-called thing. And then again, another thing that it fades to, and it cuts to another thing. Pat Patterson is now, he was leaning up against some type of trolley, I guess some storage unit.
And you don't see the pin.
And you just call him, what does he call him, a stooge or something?
A stooge, because they were the stooge, they were Vince McMahon's stooges.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing beats the time they got the chairs over the head by Stone Cold. He takes out Triple H, and then when he was coming to the ring with the chair, then he helps Rock win or whatever. But yeah, Jerry Briscoe pins him, and then, he's running, he's cheering, and then he gets intercepted by the very pretty Kelly Kelly. I had a big crush on Kelly Kelly when she was wrestling with WWE.
She still looks pretty good.
She looks so much better in person than her Instagram photos.
Yeah.
Her Instagram photos,
true.
They are way too overproduced.
Mm-hmm.
Like they do not. They're not giving her the full respect in terms of her. Like, if we're gonna call for her beauty.
Yeah.
I don't like the way the Instagram, whatever this type of little color grading they're doing.
The filters?
I don't know. Whatever the airbrush that they're doing on her photos, whoever's in charge of her. She's probably in charge of her Instagram account, but I'm like, I've seen her in person. I'm like, wow, she looks stunning.
Yeah.
And the photos that come out on her Instagram are just, they're just a generic, Instagram model, which is fine, but I don't get a chance to appreciate, how great looking she looks. And she looked really nice. I mean, she looks like she could easily wrestle if she wanted to.
Yeah. I don't know why they haven't brought her back, but
I don't know, man. I mean, not to say she's like, from what I remember, like her in-ring work wasn't like jaw-dropping.
No.
If she's gonna compete with the likes of like Charlotte and Becky Lynch, and
she won't be
that
tier level.
She's unfortunately the Divas era.
Yeah.
And we'll respect that era for what it was, and so on and so be it. But yeah, she ends up kneeing Briscoe in the nuts.
Yeah.
And then boom, she pins him, and she 24/7 title again. Another moment.
The first female since, I think it was Jacqueline.
Is it really?
To win a male championship.
Wow. Well, congratulations to her. So yeah, she leaves with it, and then we go to Samoa Joe comes out to the ring, and he starts to say what a lot of our smarks are doing. So I think they're trying to insult our intelligence with basically the with the dialogue. I feel like, because he's like, oh, Raw shows like this are a plague upon WWE, which he's the words could never be more true.
Right.
It's only thing is saying that if they're saying this out loud, and it's Vince McMahon who's writing the dialogue right now for it, then is he trying to chirp back at us by using the words of certain people, their opinions?
Possibly. I wouldn't put
storyline.
I wouldn't put it past.
Because I am, like I said, like this show was trying to bring back some nostalgia. I am a sucker for nostalgia, but I'm a sucker for personal nostalgia, like whether it be family-wise or reminiscing about old times with friends.
Yeah.
Old movies that, since day one I've watched, that I'll watch them again. They feel just as special, if not even more special, the more times I watch them, or I can go back and revisit them.
Yeah.
I'm appreciative of that type of nostalgia. I don't want to see what we saw at Super Showdown with Goldberg and Undertaker. I don't want to see what we saw last year in November in Saudi Arabia with Shawn Michaels and all that stuff, and the Triple H and that whole thing, Taker and them. I could just to see these guys. It's nice to see them in segments and if they want to have appearances, but to have them wrestle is another thing that I just don't want to see, because I just don't think it. If you want to respect the business, if you want to protect character. Gimmicks and creativity. Don't
have them wrestle.
Don't have them wrestle. Don't overexpose them, especially now that these people are older. But yeah, the show was very nostalgic. So yeah, he chirps about that, and then chirps about the opening segment with Rikishi,
right,
and the Usos, and who comes out? Who does Michael Cole announce?
The big dog.
The big dog. And I just want to if this was more of like a more mature writing scripted product, I'd call him you're just a big bitch. That because easily Samoa Joe, because he's such a badass.
Just say it.
On the mic, he could easily say that.
Yeah,
which would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
I would love to hear that, but it seems like and he does good with the promos. Like for what they write for him, he sounds good.
Yeah.
There's certain people who sound very robotic.
Right.
And you feel bad for them because it seems like they don't like what they have to say out loud,
but they have to say it.
Yeah. So
Samoa I did
Joe,
it for The Rock.
No. Okay, that one there's a good one though. I did it for The Rock, and then The Rock himself made fun of it. Yeah. So that's a special moment in time. If they would do that,
yeah,
that would be great. Like if they're making light of how way people are speaking and they turn it into something, oh man. But they don't. They ignore some of the most blatantly obvious things, and that's where the logic gaps are in a lot of their products.
Like suffering succotash.
Oh God, there we go though. There. Just one of many situations. But yeah, he comes out. They have a back and forth. I didn't realize, unless they're just doing it for the storyline purposes, they're apparently from the same island. Mm-hmm. Even though I know they always announce Roman Reigns coming out from, what's it called there in Florida? It's just near, like, literally...
it's not Pensacola, is it?
Yeah, that's it. I just didn't want to butcher the name, so I'd rather not say it. But yeah, it's just...
I'll butcher it if I did. I don't care.
But yeah, they're arguing, and basically Reigns says, well, if you got anything else to say to my face. He goes, I just said everything I needed to say.
Yeah.
And then they start brawling. Samoa Joe gets the upper hand and beating him up a little bit. And then, he's walking away. He goes, because he also taunts the crowd. He goes, we want to give these people what they want, and a real fight. And then he goes, no, I'm not going to do that. These people don't deserve it. And he walks away, gets a bunch of rain of boos. And then, Roman Reigns goes, oh, I want to apologize. Not all Samoans are cowards. And then, they finally have a match or whatever. And they have a match. And I think I messaged you, right?
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like, going as this match, I'm like, he better not lose. Samoa Joe better not lose. And, of course, he loses.
He loses.
Which is really shitty. Because Samoa Joe is a beast and he should not be losing. But they're booking him like a goddamn loser. And it's really frustrating because I like the character. Yeah. I think he's cool. He's a good heel, but they're making him not look like a strong heel.
No. Part of me, when they were brawling and then they teased the match, part of me was just like, just keep it as a tease.
Okay.
Don't have the match.
Yeah.
Because then Samoa would have got great heat for that, and Reigns would have got more of a babyface kind of pop, whatever you want to call it. But I didn't want to see the match because we saw these two fight many times.
Well, then I hear people are starting to talk about, and I'm like, wow, I really should have put a trademark on this whole statement of saying how I think Samoa Joe should join forces with Roman Reigns and the Usos and form a huge Samoan dynasty.
Right.
Along with if Nia Jax comes back from her injuries, right. 2 torn ACLs, and then Tamina Snuka. They would have a dynasty of
Yeah.
And I start seeing people, I'm like, damn it, I've been saying this for over a year now, of having that as something, of turning Roman heel, and him and Samoa Joe having, they always used to do the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
It would have been him with the two, the Usos would have been his right and left hands, and then Samoa Joe would have been his muscle, his guy to push a button on someone.
Right.
The mafioso kind of stuff, push a button on a guy.
And then they could have
bosses push a button on the guy, you push a button on the guy.
And then they could have won all the belts and create amazing storylines.
That would be cool to have them kind of run Monday Night, and they could if they could feud with the club.
Yeah.
If the club decides that they should, if it's going to be the official club, the OCs, what they're calling themselves, the official club, then Finn Balor could join them because he's one of the founders of the original club.
Yeah, and you get Nakamura in there.
That would be cool. Like, you'd have some cool... Like, if you don't know what to do with all these individual acts, you can't throw them all in tag teams. Make some factions.
Yeah.
Like, for the longest time, New Day was the trio, and there was no other trio to go up head-to-head with them.
No.
And then you had Kofi Kingston rotating the belt around his waist along with Big E Langston
and
Xavier Woods. And you have a surplus of guys. Throw a third guy in. You split up one tag team and make it 3, and then you can have some depth in certain things.
That's why I don't want Undisputed Era to come up, because as soon as they do, they're going to... Just like what happened to Sanity.
Oh, God. Yeah. But that's where we go back to Vinnie Mac. There's been a lot of talk that he doesn't watch the NXT product.
Yeah.
And then these guys get called up from NXT that he doesn't really know too much about, because he's not familiar with them, and then he just throws them out there to either sink or swim.
Yeah.
And for whatever sake it is, when you're judge, jury, and executioner, and you have a guy who's your circus monkey go perform out there for you, there's a certain point, you can only do so much as yourself as an in-ring performer to perform the much as the best of your abilities of the segment, but if the segment is crap,
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I can go out and sing a song that, I'm gonna try to name off someone who isn't too. It's not too cheeky to say. Let's just say Ed Sheeran. He has some solid songs and whatever. Now, I can go and sing out the exact same song, but if I don't perform it, is it my fault or is it the song's fault?
Right.
Right? It's going to probably more or less be my fault. That's a little different than, when I've got these guys writing something and it's not the same segment as it was before. And I think, when it comes to the way the booking is for certain new guys, they just fall flat on their face. And I deliberately stopped watching NXT because I felt so heartbroken seeing guys like Finn Balor, the Shinsuke's of the world coming up from NXT and seeing the way they were booked, and how they were portrayed on Monday Night Raw or on SmackDown Live. It was night and day, and it did not look good for who they were and how they had been crafted so well in the NXT bubble. So and it even goes. I guess the next stretch after the Roman Reigns part, before we get to just after the Miz TV thing, because I'll do it real quick. The Sami Zayn has been on and off too since he's been coming back. I know he had the injury, now he's finally back, and he's kind of almost less talking with a free range of mic, but I think they're scripting his promos too to the point where he's talking out to the fans. That whole segment there where he's talking in the backstage there and chirping all the old alumni and then chirping the fans who buy into this crap. Kind of the same thing that all the other heels. Literally, I think that was every heel had this
same kind of.
It was chirping the nostalgia and chirping that, and then they were supposed to get. That's how their heel heat was. So right there, that's a creative lame blow. Because Drew McIntyre showed legends. Yeah. Samoa Joe came out with a whole speech. The club chirped the fact, and then you got Sami Zayn doing the same thing. That's where it just gets repetitive, and people can catch on right away and see right through that. But whatever, Sami Zayn and Rey Mysterio, they had a match. Rey Mysterio won because the huge distraction of a bunch of alumni came out, to distract Sami Zayn, and then he got pinned by Rey Mysterio.
Which was, to me, it's like Sami Zayn shouldn't have been in that spot.
No.
Because it's just like, that's more like Heath Slater.
Yeah.
Right? Because to me, Sami Zayn's above all. To me, the Sami Zayn character would have been oh, there's RVD. Okay, let me get a chair and just hit him in the head with it. Oh, here's Slaughter. Let me just I don't care. I'm getting out of this match, right? Yeah. Part of me, when he ran back in the ring, I was just I hope he beats Mysterio.
Right.
But he didn't, because it was the obvious, okay, Mysterio's going to win. Mm-hmm. But I was it would be great if, okay, those guys came out, Sami Zayn's just okay, I can't go up the ramp. I'll go back in the ring and just beat up Mysterio and win the match. But that didn't happen.
Well, I mean, whatever. It was a fast thing. I didn't really care for it too much. I was more concerned with, even though this is another thing too, with the Miz TV segment there with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins comes out. He's interviewing him. Oh, you're going to be fighting Brock Lesnar again. Yeah. I'm adding the words again because it's again. Yeah. It's who left the fridge open? I'm thinking now the whole segment there with the whole movies, the movie commercials at the beginning of Tropic Thunder. That one there. What's the one that...
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Scorched. Yeah, that's what it is. It's Scorcher 2. Yeah, Scorcher 2. And then Scorcher 5, and goes to then Scorcher 6. Global meltdown. Who left the fridge open? That's what it is. Here we go again. So, yeah. Once again, Seth Rollins is now going up against Brock Lesnar. SummerSlam, they have this whole segment and then he gets interrupted by Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's, which was kind of cool. I like the way the look was that he's in gorilla. Yeah. Saying that he goes, hang on.
And he walks out.
Just goes through the curtain. Yeah. Comes around and starts yelling at him, and he goes, hey, if you're going to talk the talk for Brock, you're going to have to walk the walk for him. And he goes, I'm going to give you 5 seconds, and I'm going to come up there and, stomp you through the stage. And he starts counting, and he's I'm just an advocate, and then he makes him scurry away. Right. He gave a really stupid promo. Brock Lesnar is just a man, and any man can lose.
And he just wants to be just like Seth Rollins.
Yeah, he also said that. Yeah, he just wants to be like Seth Rollins, and he threw the light that Paul Heyman. That's what Paul Heyman before he got scurried away said. Yeah, you cashed in on him too at WrestleMania 31. And he goes, yeah, well, it took him 4 years or whatever to repay the favor. And I'm okay, I don't know how these shots add up. Ooh. Yeah. These are really great shots, but Yeah, that's what they talked about on the Miz TV segments, and Rollins is like, rah, but I'm going to be fighting AJ Styles tonight, I don't know. Sometimes when I hear him do his promos, it's like, I wish you could just tell he's scripted. You could tell he's really scripted.
Yeah, well, to me, okay, so don't get me wrong, he's great in ring, his work ethic's fine, but it's like, I don't like Seth Rollins.
I like him, but I think he needs to go back to being a heel. I really do. I don't think, depending on what you want to say about AJ Styles being the heel of Raw right now, but he's still doing a U.S. title thing with Ricochet.
Yeah. You're talking about main heel, yeah?
Yeah, you need a main heel. And at the time, it was a jump in between Drew McIntyre and whatever, a little bit. Just before WrestleMania, it was Drew McIntyre a little bit. He was a main heel, but that was associated with whatever, because he took out everyone.
Yeah. Well, their main heel would be Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, but...
But they should have Joe as main heel.
I wouldn't mind that, but... the way they're booking Samoa Joe, it just...
not gonna happen.
No. He's turning into the old Bray Wyatt, would talk a lot and then have a terrible resume of recent matches to back him up.
Yeah. In
terms of just a winning streak or any type of defeats. So, yeah, that segment was over. A lot of whoop-de-doo. As much as it's supposed to be the important thing of the evening in terms of furthering storylines, it just, it is what it is. They're going to be facing each other at SummerSlam in Toronto.
Yeah.
And we'll see where it goes from there. And then we go back to another goddamn segment once again with the 24/7 title. Kelly's showing, hey, everyone, look, I pinned Jerry Briscoe. Right. I'm the 24/7 title, hey. She's with Candice there.
Candice, Michelle, Melina, and then Naomi.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, out of nowhere, Candice attacks Kelly.
Yeah.
Boom, pins her.
And Melina says she got her license, and it's like, license for what? And then you find out she's the referee, which is kind of weird, because you need a license to be a referee in the WWE. Although what happens, so Candice Michelle pins Kelly with the help of Melina. And then once that happens and Candice does her only one thing where she spins around.
Oh, yeah.
Alundra Blaze comes in, puts her in a chokehold, and then there was this awkward, submission tap out. And then Melina's just like,
she's like, counter ref, counting. Yep, she tapped. You're the new champ. Boom.
Yeah.
And then that was that. Blaze walks away with the title. Ooh, another segment done with the title. So we've had a bunch of different champions. I can't believe we even have to talk about that, but so be it. RVD showed up though. That's what it was for the Sami Zayn match. RVD shows up, interrupts Sami Zayn because Sami Zayn was walking away from Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, it was during the match. Yeah. Mysterio was getting the upper hand, and I think Sami Zayn's like, screw this.
Don't know why all these guys showed up, because RVD shows up, Sergeant Slaughter shows up, Hurricane shows up, and Kurt Angle. Yeah. They all show up. And then they start coming down the ramp, so they force Sami Zayn back in the ring, and then Rey Mysterio manhandle. We already kind of talked about it, so big whoop. I think I just wrote in the notes just basically to kind of the way it was shot for the show. Backstage segment was with the Street Profits there and the NXT guys.
I don't get why they're on Raw, but they're not on Raw.
I have to say I'm happy that they're getting some exposure, because if they ever decide to come up in the main roster after
people are going to know who they are.
Yeah, because you can tell. At least they're getting some exposure. And you know what? These guys, I have to say, man, the Street Profits have got some damn good charisma. Their personalities are kind of refreshing to kind of see. I don't know, they kind of just when I'm watching, because I'm a big basketball fan and I'm a big NFL fan, and I get a lot of vibe that these guys are in that kind of circle of those type of athletes. They just have that kind of energy, and I like that. I think it brings it brings something that was probably needed to the wrestling business, a little bit of that kind of vibe, because no one who's been that kind of, I don't want to say, I don't know, hip hop mentality. Maybe it sounds like MVP.
Yeah, MVP would kind of be the other one that I was thinking of. What's his name? He was there for a brief stint. He wasn't a wrestler. He was the mouthpiece for Primetime. all that's coming to me is his last name, Washington. And he was on the mic. He had a headset. And the way he got fired was because he brought up the Kobe Bryant.
Oh, yeah.
That guy.
Oh, my God. I know who you're talking about because I watched that segment. That was with the primetime players, you mean? He was there. AW.
Yeah.
They were calling him AW.
Yeah.
Yeah, because... Oh, man. I don't even want to repeat that one. That was funny, though. But then he also took a shot at Linda McMahon, too, for being in Congress, right?
Yeah,
or something like that. So that was like there was a 2-for-1 in that. Where he was
yeah.
Yeah, AW, yeah. Oh, that I watched that live, actually. And, I could go on laughing for hours, but I can't do it right now. But yeah, it was cool to kind of see them, and then they're going off about how they're partying with Mark Henry and
Ric Flair.
Yeah, Ric Flair, and then the Godfather's got him on the phone. So then,
which is weird because Ric Flair shows up like 2 seconds before this segment.
Oh yeah. He comes out in the limo, right, or whatever. Yeah, he pulls up. I do remember that now.
And it looks like he bladed a little, but it's just like I
did notice that. But
yeah,
I think that's the same injury because last time he was on TV. He had the gash.
He had something, yeah.
And it's the same gash again, and I don't know what that's from.
No.
I don't know, man. And it looks like it still looks like it's very much present, like it's on his head. I don't know if he fell or something, but yeah.
Yeah.
That was whatever. I mean, cool. I'm glad he was back. But then it goes back again to Alundra Blaze, and that's right. She comes out on stage.
Yeah.
And then she decides to reprise her Medusa role.
Yeah.
WCW Medusa role. And I'm like, holy crap, lady, just toss that title in the trash and end the misery that is this 24/7 debacle.
We kind of glossed over it, but when she wins it, she goes, "Now I'm the 24 champion." She doesn't say 24/7. She goes, I'm the 24 champion, and I'm not going to hold this belt for long.
Yeah.
Because I remember going, what? You just mispronounced the name. It says right on the title.
Yeah, I guess that's why. She probably, you know what? They probably booked that whole part within an hour before the show.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, this is what we're having you do tonight. That's probably what some damn producer came up to her and said that. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
I guarantee you. Easily.
But the $1 Million Man comes out.
$1 Million Man comes out, and then he offers to buy the title because he goes, "Every man has a price."
Yeah. First, I'm a little disappointed because all the $1 Million Man does now with his suits is he just puts money signs on some random suit, and that's it. Whereas before they were like nice suits.
I miss the $1 Million title.
Yeah, I think that because that's a real like jeweled diamond encrusted belt. That's rumor is it's locked up somewhere inside WWE headquarters.
Yeah, with a lot of the old other belts that they have either they took from when they got the merger and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
He buys it off of her and he takes off. And then
the greatest line though from Corey Graves was, "Does that make Alundra Andre?"
Oh boy. Goddamn Corey. Actually, he's the only one who was probably refreshing to me today because it was nice to actually have a few guys on commentary. Like Booker T made an appearance, Christian made an appearance,
Jerry Lawler. Who else did make an appearance? One more person. I think I'm forgetting a fourth. I want to say there was a fourth, but I could be wrong. I'm sure it'll come.
Because Jerry Lawler came up. Jerry Lawler came in for what match? Actually,
I think it was for the Seth Rollins AJ Styles match. Yeah.
So and then the Seth Rollins AJ Styles turns into a match, and then obviously the cronies of Anderson and
Gallows.
They kind of are obviously causing mischief on the side of the ring, for Rollins. So who comes out but none other than DX, which is Triple H and Shawn Michaels. DX only, who come out at the time to kind of even the number odds against Rollins, and then they tell the guys to suck it. And it's kind of weird because then the match gets interrupted. Mm-hmm. So the match doesn't go anywhere.
No.
And then it just becomes where the rest of the clique shows up, which is 2 guys from NWO, which is Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. And then
Road Dogg and X-Pac.
Road Dogg and X-Pac come out. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So See, 4? Yeah.
Yeah, the 4 come out afterwards. Mm-hmm. I was hoping 2 things would have happened from this segment. Whereas the club just beat the shit out of all of them.
Yeah.
Because this is again the same thing that happened to Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
They repeated the spot twice. And then also, like, if they wanted to tease AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels match, this would have been the best opportunity ever.
You know what? But I don't think you're wrong. I think they did. Something happened on the side, if you noticed, when Road Dogg, they shoo him away or whatever.
You mean when AJ Styles is walking out with them?
You noticed closer to the camera side.
Yeah.
AJ Styles is obviously near the ring, and Shawn Michaels is on, I don't know if he's on the turnbuckle or he's on the ropes, but they're yelling at each other, and he's like, "You want to go? You want to go?" Something like that. I thought I heard that.
Right.
And then that's when Road Dogg put Graham like, "Hey, should we let Seth do it?" And then we got 2 words for you.
He did a horrible
So Seth
version.
Seth Rollins got to do Seth Rollins did his Seth Rollins version of You Can Tell You.
Yeah. I will say
he got to live his fanboy moment out. Because any fanboy would have gone crazy in that moment to do with all those guys in the ring, that whole situation.
I will say, after reading it, I think Meltzer is the one who said it. It wasn't supposed to be Rollins. It was supposed to be Ricochet in this spot.
Really?
Yeah.
So where the heck was Ricochet?
He wasn't cleared because I think he hurt his elbow, so he wasn't cleared to wrestle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so be it then. That would have been, you know what, though? It would have been random, though, if it was Ricochet with those guys.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash was making me laugh. He looked like he's like, okay, let me put on another NWO t-shirt and go out there. Let me just do it. All right, here we go. And then just doing, holding up the wolf and going from there.
Too sweet.
Yeah, basically. So, yeah, that segment ended. And then another backstage segment, $1 Million Man. Yeah, this was really kind of funny because I don't know what the hell. It was weird, man. The sound effects for $1 Million Man is backstage in the parking garage area of the stadium, goes into his limo, and then you hear like a pop, like it's something, but they sound like gunshots, like they or something, and you're hearing like, and then little Drake Maverick comes out with the title and he's cheering that he's got it, and so the title goes back again to Drake Maverick's hand, boom. Another switch again. Woo! I am loving this title. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Don't you remember when they did the hardcore belt? I forget what the match was called, but they did like a 10, 15-man match for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, but if this belt was so precious, I'm sorry to say, not the hardcore belt, but if the 24/7 title is so precious, then why wouldn't like when they have done so many times throughout the weeks where all of a sudden this huge conga line of Chase comes after whoever has the belt, rips through the arena in the middle of some other match. Why isn't who's ever in the match or ditching the match and going after the title because they can see it's up for grabs?
Right. Well, if you notice, the guys who chase it are just like the lower.
But that's what I mean,
card, right?
You're killing your product. How are you supposed to build your guys with some validation,
right,
and reputation if they're going through these things and doing stuff
right?
And God forbid, who knows if they speak up, if they're going to pay for it with being, one of Roman Reigns' nearest victims of just some random match, and we're just it gets put together. But hence why. So he starts running because Maverick gets the title. He starts running because everyone starts chasing him. A bunch of guys notice him coming out of the car or out of the limo with the title. So he runs. So there you go. There's a conga line chasing after him. So it quickly jumps to Mick Foley in the middle of the ring, announcing that however long ago he brought the title out and this. And this. That, like I said, he gets interrupted by everyone who should be in catering, but they're chasing after Maverick.
Right, which is good because Foley's just like, oh, wait a minute, let me get in on this. But then he stops because he has to do this.
I did notice that, and I was like, okay, I appreciate they play it that way. If you can make it in some way, shape, or form a little bit more. I don't mind chaos. I like chaos. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I just think sometimes the way they do it, it really kills certain guys' characters, and there's a lot of great performers, and they I don't know, they just need to really rework it in a way that makes a little bit more sense and has some logic behind the storytelling.
Right.
So Mick Foley's there. Finally gets a chance to start again on the microphone, and then all the lights start to shut off, from top to bottom.
Well, they because he's like great moments such as when I won the title, and they start to show the video.
Yeah,
and that's where the video burnt out.
Right,
and then the lights went off.
And then we have Bray Wyatt.
Yeah,
comes in, does basically the same the Sacco thing to Mick Foley. And we got that. Another Bray Wyatt appearance, but attacking someone, and then. So what does that mean? Is Mick Foley going to be off TV for a few weeks, or I don't know.
Well, Mick Foley's going to be off TV regardless if that happens.
But again, why attack Mick Foley? Like, we thought because Bray Wyatt last week or whatever attacked
Balor
that, there would be a feud going forward that would lead into SummerSlam.
Right.
And then there was rumors that Balor might be taking time off, requesting some time, so this will be a way to, after SummerSlam, to write him off TV. Because Bray Wyatt cannot lose a match. No. I hope to God he doesn't lose a match for a whole another year.
Yeah.
If he can go on a full year of a win streak and not lose and just be booked properly, you got yourself a great, character, a great storyline.
Although
hopefully it's booked in a great.
I don't think he should fight at SummerSlam because it feels too close. I think he should keep doing what they're doing with him now, probably even turn it up more. With him just attacking random guys.
Then unless he comes and attacks and really messes something up at SummerSlam, that's a huge tectonic shift in something in the climate of the WWE. So that way maybe he comes and it's his first official match is the Survivor Series.
Yeah.
He's coming in for segments, and who knows, I don't know if they would have him talking on the mic in between, the follow-ups too, because we haven't seen, there's been Firefly Funhouse since then. No. Since the last week's show up against Balor, there hasn't been anything. So I don't know where we go from here in terms of if we hear him speak and he does something like that. But so be it. He attacks, and then we go to. Some people call this the moment of piss. It's not my words. I'm just quoting other people who watch this segment, and that's So don't take my word for it. But the moment of bliss with bringing on Becky Lynch. Did you know she's Seth Rollins' girlfriend, by the way?
I did not know that.
Wow. Well, there you go.
Huh.
She's Seth Rollins' girlfriend.
That's good to know. I'll remember that.
Yeah, you'll probably remember it next week when they tell you again. So she comes on, and she's supposed to get interviewed by, I guess, because you have Alexa Bliss and, oh my God.
Nikki Cross?
Nikki Cross there, her best friend, Nikki Cross. But then before really the segment ever gets on, Natalya comes out to, basically, challenge Becky. Like, if she has to say anything to me, she can say it to my face type of situation, which ensues, leading to a brawl. They have to be separated. Mm-hmm. They're talking about, it's in my home country of Canada, this and this and this. I'll see you at SummerSlam. There's just like a whole thing. And then it goes to commercial, and it comes right back to backstage with Charlie. I think it's Charlie Caruso and Natalya. And Natalya's getting asked, how did you think that it would go so fast from, 0 to 100 in terms of your friendship, being so nasty between the two of you? And Natalya says, well, Becky, how did I put it? Becky, Natalya says she's going to take the title away from Becky.
Yeah.
And that, the reason why is because Becky can't, the women's revolution was built on the backs of women like Natalya, not Becky.
Yeah.
Becky's like a benefactor of the fact that, women like Natalya have built this whole women's revolution and so on and so forth. So, that was a quick little segment, and, whoop-de-doo, the women's get a little moment. And then we go, bless the Saints, pal. Bless the Saints. And then we got the segments of, again, Drake Maverick. He's running around. He's attempting, literally at this point now, he's attempting to run into a vehicle, and like a getaway car with his wife. He's about to get in, and then he's getting gripped by the belt buckle, and then it's by R-Truth who grabs him in the end, pins him, takes the title, jumps in the car with Maverick's wife, and speeds off. And then he's like, oh no, I lost the title. And then he realizes, oh no, because Carmella's standing right in front of him, and he's on the ground. And he goes, oh my God, my wife. So we're right back to square one from where we started the night off with this damn title. Of just full circle, it's back in Truth's hands. It just always seems every night or every week, Truth starts off with the title, Maverick takes it from him, only for Maverick to lose to the Truth again, and we all go round and around and around. This has happened now, I think, almost 4 weeks in a row of Truth, Maverick.
Yeah.
And it's regurgitated crap.
And I think R-Truth is 10-time 24/7 champion.
To me, this title should have how many days you're using how many days you're the title holder, because this could be anywhere you can get pinned.
Yeah.
So the title, in terms of how long you've been champion, in terms of a scale of days, should count, not how many times you've held it.
Not many reigns.
How days would make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Because to keep track, I mean, you can obviously keep track of how many times you won it.
Yeah.
But it sounds really stupid.
Yeah.
Because that means you've lost it 9 times.
Right.
You're 10-time champion, but you've lost the title 9 times. It doesn't sound good.
And twice on one night sometimes.
Well, yeah, right? I mean, that's the only reason why Charlotte and Sasha Banks are so high on like how many times they've reigned.
Yeah, because they
did a hot potato thing.
Yeah.
I remember that way back. It came out on the Wrestling Observer and a lot of things. Oh, Vince McMahon is in a very hot potato mood right now with the title. So that, like, every other week it was Sasha would win against Charlotte. Charlotte would win. And I just like, whoa, why? So cool, done. So be it. Strowman comes out, and he grabs the microphone, Braun Strowman, and yells basically to the crowd, don't worry, don't get too comfortable, this will be over before you know it. Beats the hell out of some jobber.
This was, I don't get why he's fighting jobbers at this point.
Yeah, this is like Braun Strowman from like 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
When he was coming out, beating up people and squashing random jobbers that everyone already would, let's go jobber chants used to always reign when those happens, boom, crushes him. Finally, last but not least, Jesus Christ, we've been on this for a while now. A minute and 20 we've been on this, baby. So,
about 2 hours.
For everyone who stuck around, thank you. We've kind of gone into fanboy modes. I kind of lost my Midnight Cool Rob voice and went into fanboy Rob voice. So we get the last segment of the night. Ric Flair comes out. I thought he was going to talk to the crowd.
Yeah, I thought Flair was going to talk too.
But he didn't have a mic, nothing. He just came on just to his music playing, the crowd giving him an ovation, and then within moments, everyone who you saw throughout the night, all these legends or alumni came out through Gorilla onto stage.
Except for Cena.
Except for Cena. Cena, yeah, that's the one thing I know is Cena was not out there, because you can't miss that bright green.
Yeah.
When the bright green's not there, you can definitely notice that, and he was missing. But everyone came behind and was standing in a big line.
Although, did you see, they caught it right at the perfect moment where they're all doing the big line, and then Triple H leans over to Santino Marella, and he just goes, "Would you move over?" Because it was getting squished, right? So then they all started to move over.
Yeah, I know. I figured they all kind of, put a little bit of them getting canned like sardines and give each other crap for it, which is funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, he comes out, and then all the alumni legends, they all come out, they wait, and there's an applause, and then Hogan's music hits, Hulk Hogan's music. So he comes out, and he's addressing the crowd. It's his hometown of Tampa, Florida. He's created a lot of memories, thanking all the Hulkamaniacs, from past, present, and future.
Yeah.
What you gonna do when Hulkamania and the Raw reunion will run wild on you? And he gets the giant applause, and then I honestly thought it was over, and I was like, this is gonna close the show, and then Stone Cold's music hits.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. He came out, and he looked good.
He looked pretty...
I heard that he lost almost like 30 pounds since the
Wow.
last time he was on TV for WWE.
Wow.
So, good for him.
Yeah.
That he lost weight. He's, kind of slimmed out a little bit. He came out, obviously, in his, nice hat gimmick, and he's marching down the ring. Has a cooler of beers in the corner.
Yeah.
He's doing his whole thing, smashing beers, pouring them on himself, and then he addresses the crowd, basically, thanking everyone, talking about, a little nostalgia, a little, I don't want to get all sentimental on you, I'm not going to write you a Christmas card. So, it was funny, though. I love it.
Did you hear the line he said about Hogan?
Now you got me spent.
Because he was saying something like, I came here, I went to Hogan and we were chatting and we did like this podcast and we did this and we did that.
Yeah,
and he goes, before that, I didn't even know the guy, but today we were like family. It was great.
Yes, yeah, okay. Because then he started talking about this whole thing with Ron Simmons showing up in the middle of an elevator and then them hugging for 20 to 30 seconds, and people would have thought there was more to their relationship. And then Simmons like, hey, watch yourself. So I thought that was funny. So it's always funny when there's a mildness of like insecurity over homophobia. Yeah. I don't mind that. Like if it's done in a playful way and it's not being too like derogatory, I think it's fine. So it's funny that way. Hey, Like, not that there's anything wrong with that. Like, one of those kind of, like, have to put that statement out there, you're cool, but you're not that cool.
Right.
So, yeah, no, it was cool, like, in the sense that he's tossing... He was getting the what chant really hard at him. And I don't know if people were doing it because it's Stone Cold, let's what him, because he knows he loves what, but he didn't play into it as much.
No. Because normally he goes on, like, the lists, right?
He would do those lists to really get the what chant going, but for whatever reason, he was playing more... He wanted to get out what he had to say, and he was doing it in an order of such to say, okay, these are all things. He's, he had to go through whatever spiel he had to go through, and he's, cracking open beers, pouring them on himself, and then,
everybody joins him.
Yeah, pretty much everyone came to the ring to join him, and then they did like a whole like celebration salute.
I did notice. So like Ron Simmons was on the outside. Well, there was a couple of guys on the outside, and Austin was getting beers, and he was tossing them outside, but nobody was paying attention, so he just went on the floor. And then Austin turned around to talk to guys in the ring, and then I saw, like, I think it was Ron Simmons or, like, Rikishi just be like, toss me a beer. And it was too late at that time, because Austin was in the ring chatting with everybody. And then Austin turns back around, and he was going to go jump, like, do his thing on the rope. And that's where Nash was just like, Austin, but he wasn't paying attention.
Oh, yeah, I saw Austin. I saw it. That was going to mention it. It was kind of funny. I was seeing a bunch of, because people started, like, not necessarily swarming Stone Cold.
Yeah.
But some people started to, navigate towards him.
Yeah.
To kind of do a cheers with him and drink the beer. And I noticed that Kevin Nash was trying to get a little cheers with the thing. He looked like one of those guys you just felt a little bit out of place. Even though I'm like, you're Kevin freaking Nash.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be out of place, but he kind of had his body the way he held himself at that specific moment looked like, I'm at my kid's charity event and I don't know what to do.
Maybe he was surprised that his quads didn't break again.
Hey, that's a sensitive subject. That was terrible. What could have been, maybe the NWO could have been a little bit more revamped if he didn't get immediately injured back then.
Right.
But yeah, then I saw like another 2-minute segment just of when they went off the air. A lot of people cleared out and went backstage, but Stone Cold stayed out there doing a lot of the cracking open beers and doing things.
Yeah.
And then he ended up going and pouring beers on himself on top of the commentary booth. Oh yeah, and then Garcia too. And yeah, that's how Raw closed.
Yeah.
So yeah, one hell of a Raw reunion, I guess, for alumni purposes. But in terms of how you basically burned a week of storytelling to build towards SummerSlam, I think wasn't justified.
It wasn't justified, but because it was a Raw reunion, I think people knew what they were gonna get, which was just gonna be a fun, campy show.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't have those. You don't do those. I don't think it's right to do those when you only have a certain amount of time
before
your second biggest show of the year.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any sense. It's not fair, and especially it's not fair to the current roster performers, man.
No.
Let's just take this in. The majority of the main roster, at least who's on Monday Night Raw, but then again, got this wild card crap, and then the guys who they need to fill gaps are all part of this conga line chasing after this 24/7 title.
Yeah.
That's your main present day roster you're throwing out there, looking completely like a bunch of goofballs.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only times, like, I see Ascension guys running out there chasing after the 24/7 title.
I didn't see Rude.
Yeah, maybe keep him off TV, protect him, because he's not been getting any good treatment any time he's been on TV either.
Yeah.
Robert Roode, right?
Yeah.
Giving him the name? That guy, he could have been another coming of whatever you want to say, because he was playing an amazing heel back in the day on NXT. But again, that's another reason. It's the Shinsuke's, the Finn Balor's, the Roodes. I can't watch NXT, not because it's an amazing product. It's the best wrestling probably on the planet, apart from maybe outside indie products, depending on how they're booking their shows. But it kills me to see these guys finally get called up in the way they are. I said this earlier. So that's why I'm just so hurting, because I really like guys like I was a big fan of, or like the Finn Balor's. Huge. He was my favorite.
Yeah.
And he finally came up, and then he got the terrible, was it the rotator cuff that he tore?
Yeah.
He was out immediately. Otherwise, he's technically the first ever Universal Champion. He hasn't yet ever to be on another match for the Universal Championship. So to see that kind of, happen, and then, he never really picked up from where he's been. I don't know. I don't know where it goes from here. But yeah, that was the Raw reunion, and I was not necessarily a fan of everything. Maybe some segments were great, but all in all, it still wasn't a good show.
Overall.
Like, I know Paul Heyman's supposed to be taking over, but it seemed like Paul Heyman had too many, he didn't have a say in what the heck's going on. This is basically...
not with this one.
It's the high school reunion, and you're basically one of the guys. Your word is just as big as probably Hulk Hogan's or Stone Cold's. Everyone's got a hand at the table to really kind of have a say for the night. So it's just, you have a segment here and then go for it. I don't know where we go from here.
Well, because at the time of recording, they're doing SmackDown.
Yeah.
So hopefully they're continuing the SmackDown storylines for SummerSlam.
I would assume so.
And then with Wild Card, they can continue a bit of Raw storylines, but...
that needs to die real fast, the Wild Card.
Yeah, the Wild Card needs to go away really fast. But overall, the Raw reunion wasn't a good show. It was one of those... It's like a movie where you put in and you don't want to think. You just want to sit, relax, and enjoy. Mm-hmm. To me, that's what this felt like. You just sit back, relax, and enjoy, as opposed to going, what happened 2 weeks ago that I'm supposed to remember? But, hopefully we don't get another one of these anytime soon.
But a majority of this night...
Yeah.
If I was there live in person, a majority of this night was backstage segments.
It was backstage, yeah.
If not 3/4 of the show, 2/3 of the show were backstage segments.
Yeah.
That you're watching off a screen.
Yeah.
So, that right there should show an immediate red alert.
Yeah.
If these were segments that were happening in the ring, and, you get to see, people can take pictures. Oh, yeah, I was at Monday Night Raw's reunion. Cool. You're taking photos of the Jumbotron. You're taking photos of the Titantron.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's not good.
Yeah, no.
Like, there's only a certain point. Now, I don't know. Maybe I know that, like I said, there was the Stone Cold after the show went off the air, and it's on, like, WWE.com, that they showed what he did after, but it's just the extra beer pouring on himself, and it was just him alone. Majority of the people, you could tell, because I was surprised, even before off the air, Tori Wilson and a lot of them were already hiking it up the ramp. Like, they just wanted to get out of there.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, you haven't been really in a ring in, like, quite a few years. Like, at least cherish the crowd a little bit. Like,
well, Tori would have been in the first Women's Royal Rumble, which was last year, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And then I don't think she was at Evolution. So it would have been a year for her.
But I mean, the Raws.
Yeah, Raws she wouldn't have been.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, that kind of stuff. Like, play off to the crowd. People were getting out of there real fast.
Yeah.
I figured as opposed to, like, I saw a lot of people hiking up the ramp. So, I mean,
it was an easy payday for them, and I wouldn't blame them for doing it.
Yeah, some people, like, I guess Stone Cold just kind of did it because he is freaking Stone Cold. I think The Rock would have been there if he could have made it.
If he could have made it, yeah.
I think he would have showed up.
I'm surprised The Undertaker wasn't there.
I think The Undertaker needs to stay away.
It's true.
He had his redemption moment at Extreme Rules, to fix the wrongs that had been done from Super Showdown.
Yeah.
Or Super Letdown, whatever you want to call. So he fixed that up, and I think that's, I guess, again, from what I remember, Taker, apart from the Ruthless Aggression era and Attitude Era, he wasn't, I don't know how much he's been overexposed, but because of how old he is, he gets exposed a lot faster than the average Joe.
Than the other, yeah.
So to have him on there again would be, like, because Kane wasn't there.
Kane wasn't there,
Like, if Kane showed up, then sure, maybe have a segment with him and Kane.
Yeah.
You
know what pissed me off? Barry Horowitz wasn't there.
Yeah, Barry of all people.
I wanted to see Barry Horowitz.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that I'd like to have seen.
Edge wasn't there. They brought up Edge. They're like, where's Edge? And Christian was just like, I don't know.
But he lives... Where does Edge live now with Beth? Well, I know it's Beth Phoenix, but where did they live? They live in North Carolina, don't they?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know, in Tampa. It's not that far of a flight.
No.
Because they're North Carolina. It's North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, yeah. I don't know. 2 hours, he's there.
Yeah.
If he flies, I don't think that's that long, but maybe he's busy.
Probably. Because or else Beth Phoenix would have been there too, right?
Yeah, but Ed just seems like a more household name to the Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Stalemate of things. I mean, then again, Beth Phoenix could show up too. I mean, if you got people like Caitlyn and Tori Wilson
and Jillian Hall.
Yeah, then I think they're okay. I think they just probably had a certain amount of people. JR was asked to go be there, but he declined. Even though Tony Khan said you can go.
Yeah.
Tony Khan wasn't like saying nope. He gave him full-fledged
permission to
go do it, and he said no.
Yeah.
So wow, I'm impressed with JR, because JR is, if anything, probably one of the biggest voices for Monday Night Raw.
Bret Hart was asked, he declined. Sid was asked, but he no-showed it.
Sid.
Psycho Sid.
Really? He no-showed it? You mean he said yes and then didn't come?
He said yes, but I think there's a couple of stories going out now, so I don't want to say which is which until I hear fully. But Sid was asked. He was confirmed, but I'm not exactly sure if he no-showed it or if 8 days prior to it said he couldn't do it anymore.
Well, so be it. I don't think we needed Psycho Sid. No offense to Psycho Sid. I just think, there was a good amount for whatever you were looking for in this show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not gonna. The guys, they're not gonna be the same that they used to be.
No.
Right?
No.
I mean, you can only appreciate what they've done in the past, and it's nice to see them, and so be it. I mean, it would have been nice to see Stone Cold give someone a stunner. But I think Kevin Owens has given enough people stunners that now that'll be our taste for the future to come. I'm glad he's got the stunner in his arsenal now.
Yeah.
Because it's too good of a move to let go.
Yeah.
Not have generations down the road use the same move.
I just hope he uses it outside of the ring.
Instead of inside the ring?
Yeah, because, Austin could hit the stunner anywhere.
Yeah.
And you saw it, it was backstage, and he would hit it, right?
Austin would hit the stunner. Austin would hit the stunner the same way pretty much Randy Orton would hit the RKO.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. I don't know. If he does it, then cool. But I don't know how much that move is protected. It seems like that it comes every once in a while with a pin that follows with that move. Unless he's fighting someone, but then it turns that he just brawls with them.
Yeah.
Other than the Shane McMahon disruption he did a couple weeks ago, where he stunned him and then ran
away.
So yeah, there's that. Do we have anything else to cover for that one?
No, that's it for. I would say for this.
Yeah,
because we're already last time we checked was 120 minutes.
Yeah, we're at 135. People must hate us by now if they've stuck around.
So
if you guys have stuck around, thank you guys so much. We appreciate the support and love. I mean, it's very welcoming. And this was a long show. It was a 3-hour show. We're trying to review for you guys and give you guys a little bit of a thought and analysis, basically, to where we hope to see the wrestling business, at least from WWE's standpoint, go from here.
Mm-hmm.
And what we'd like to see, what we wished didn't happen tonight, like that 24/7 crap that just kept on popping up throughout the night. This was a show full of segments backstage more than anything else, which was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But, we're going to try to remain positive, and, people would say, oh, if you don't like it, don't watch, but it's like, we like wrestling, that's why we watch it.
We watch it, yeah. I don't care what kind of wrestling it is, just watch it.
Yeah, and then we watch review because we review it, because it's part of our job. But this was fun. I guess we'll sign off then?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, guys, thank you so much for staying around and listening to us. I'm Rob Star, along with
Frankie D, the Holy Grail.
Holy Grail himself. Don't be afraid to subscribe to us here on YouTube. Hit us up on Instagram at Almost Elite Films. I also have myself on Twitter and Instagram, along with Frankie D on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow us, keep us, we have really exciting stuff. We'll be probably doing another show, podcast, talking about TWE. The wrestling show we have planned for ourselves, and we'll be filming. We have a whole lineup of people on the roster we're going to be doing segments with, so we're excited to do that.
Yeah.
We'll be doing a future show for that coming up very, very shortly, along with a few more other podcasts. I guess in terms of behind the scenes for Enchanted Mafia, we'll be bringing on more guests from behind the scenes. We're hopefully planning on doing one coming up with our person who did makeup and a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Kat, our makeup person, will be coming on. She also stars as Anxiety in the on screen for Enchanted Mafia Dark City, so we'll be excited. She's talented, and she's been a backbone of a lot of our backstage stuff.
And she's also going to talk about some real world problems that she went through.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. So
Anxiety is just not her character name.
Wow.
So she's that's gonna be a great one to do.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. So, anyways, guys, thank you guys so much, and we'll catch you around.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Ciao.